everyone, in this video we will be talking about functions in parallel. So for those of you who are unfamiliar, we will be reading through an interactive story on elementary. The link to this story is found in the description of the video below, as well as the link to the student workbook. So there's a voiceover and we'll be listening to it, and I'll just be helping along the way. So let's click on the play button to begin. Functions in parallel, basic coding concepts. Click on watch the video to be directed to the YouTube video, or click get started to begin. Oh, that was a little interesting. So we're going to click on a student workbook if you want to go to the story where you can remix and therefore go through the coding challenges. So how it works is there's a remix button here. You click on it. It copies the story for you to do whatever you want to it. In our case, we have our coding challenges here. And you can go to the event graph side and then connect the blocks together to finish each of the coding challenges. This will be a curriculum, so if you assign it to your classroom, then the students will have the coding challenge workbook as a remixable template, and all they have to do is click on Start Writing and select the template that they choose. So let's go back to functions in parallel and let's get started. So what are functions in parallel? Well, functions in parallel are a set of functions or actions that occur at the same time. So an example of this would be if you want to move and animate the dragon at the same time, or move and rotate something at the same time. To have a better understanding of functions in parallel, make sure to know what functions are and functions in sequence are. If you're ready, click on See Example to get started. So those videos will be somewhere linked in this video, and let's go and see the example. Let's take a look at this coding challenge example. Click on the Start button and write down the instructions for the animation. I've helped you out with some parts of the instruction, and it's up to you to fill in the rest. So first, something happens, and something happens at the same time. So let's see. I'm going to click on the Start button in 3, 2, 1, go. Hello. Did you get that? So make sure to write down the instructions for this animation and also voiceover. So let's go. Hello. So let's take a look at the answer. So in this example, the fox sings hello, and the fox moves to the right at the same time. Click on Start Coding to check out how we can code by connecting our blocks together. So let's start with the first step. When I click on the Start button, the fox sings hello. We have 3 blocks on this page. How do I connect the blocks together to make this code work? Okay, so I have 3 blocks on the page. Should be pretty easy, right? Okay, let's take a look at the answer. When I click on the Start button, it will play a recorded sound, which is the fox singing. So how do we make the fox move when the recorded sound is playing at the same time? Click on Next to see how we can add the second part. Okay, let's see how we can add the second part. As you can see, we've added 2 more blocks to this page, the fox and the move block. How do I connect the blocks together so that I play the recorded sound and move the fox to the right at the same time? So, how do I connect the blocks together? If you need more time, press the pause button, and we're going to go ahead and see the answer. Take a look at the orange on-click event block. You'll notice that the white triangle goes to two functions. That means that when I click on the start button, it will play two functions at the same time: play record sound and move. Don't forget the last step, which is you will need to change the value for the X and the Y on the move block. Remember that to move the fox to the right of itself, you will need a positive number, such as 100. So actually, we don't need to change the Y value because we're not moving the fox up or down. We're just moving him to the right. So let's start the coding challenge. Are you guys ready? Let's go. Get ready for the coding challenges. Once again, there are 3. Click on Challenge 1 to get started. Challenge 1. Coding challenge number 1. Click on the Start button to begin the animation. Write down the instructions for the animation. Are you guys ready? In 3, 2, 1, start. Okay. One more time. 3, 2, 1, start. So what's happening to the puppy? Write down the instructions. And one last time. 3, 2, 1, start. Okay, Mr. Puppy is going to go off the page soon. So let's take a look at the hint. Answer the following questions. What happens to the puppy? How many functions are there? Okay, so we saw the puppy start here, and then he ends up all the way over here. So that means he needs to have moved. And he doesn't just move, he also does something else. What does he do? So let's take a look and try to code this animation. Let's try to code coding challenge number 1. Can you figure out how to connect the blocks together? How many connections are there? Okay, so we have 2 function blocks, move and rotate, and we want to do it at the same time. So how can we connect these blocks together? Don't forget, we also have to change the values for the move block and for the rotate block. Otherwise, if you leave it at 0, it's not going to rotate and it's not going to move anywhere. So what do we change the X value and what do we change the angle to? If you need more time, press pause. Otherwise, let's see the answer. Here's the answer to coding challenge number 1. When we click on the Start button, we're going to move and rotate the puppy at the same time. Since the puppy is turning a full circle, the angle is 360 degrees. Remember, move moves the object relative to its current position. So X 200 pixels means that it's moving the puppy right 200 pixels. Okay, are we ready for challenge number 2? Let's get started with challenge 2. Coding challenge number 2. Click on the start button and write down the instructions for what happens on this page. Are we ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Meow. What's your favorite animal? Meow. What's your favorite animal? Okay, so this is a little bit different. Let's try it one last time. 3, 2, 1, go. Meow. What's your favorite animal? So what's going on this page? What's happening? Let's take a look at some of the hints. So, what happens? How many functions are there? So what happens? Let me give you a hint. We're using the play record function because we hear the cat talk and there's something else that's happening. So let's try to code it. I'm going to click on Start Code and let's go. Let's now try to code coding challenge number 2. How do we connect the blocks together to make the code work? How many connections are there? So we have 2 functions, and these 2 functions are playing at the same time. So how do we connect our blocks together to make this work? If you need more time, press the pause button. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and click on See Answer. In coding challenge number 2, when we click on the Start button, 2 things are happening at the same time. The first thing that's happening is that we are hearing a recorded sound, in our case, meow, and we're also playing the text effect for meow, what is your favorite animal? So if you're doing this in the student workbook, make sure that you have to click and select the recorded sound. There is one already on the page, so you just have to click to open up a drop down and select the right recorded sound. You can also record your own sound and use that instead. So let's take a look at coding challenge number 3. Up next is the final coding challenge. Click on the Start button to begin. Write down the instructions for what happens on this page. If you need help, click on Reset to start the animation over. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. La 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 la. Okay, I'm going to reset the animation. The music will still play, but let's try to figure out the rest. So, 3, 2, 1, go. La 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 la. Let's take a look at the hints. So, what is going on this page? Can you guess how many functions there are? Okay, I'm going to give you a hint. So when I reset it, there's nothing here. So something obviously has to happen when I click on the Start button to make it appear. So if we want to make something appear, we can use the fade function. La 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 la. So let's take a look at how we can code it. In coding challenge number 3, we have 3 functions that are playing at the same time. Can you figure out how to connect the blocks together to make the code work? So how do we connect the blocks together? You can pause it if you need some extra time. And I'm going to go ahead and click on See Answer to see the answer. Ready? In coding challenge number 3, we have 3 functions that are playing at the same time. Can you figure out how to connect the blocks together to make the code work? How many connections are there? If you need more time, you can press the pause button. And I'm going to go ahead and click on See Answer. In the last coding challenge, we are playing 3 functions at the same time when we click on the Start button. So the 3 functions are play music, which is the background music, play a record sound, which is the recorded voiceover of the la 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 la, and finally we are fading in the speech bubble. So once again, these 3 functions are playing at the same time, and therefore is an example of functions in parallel. Great, so let's go to the next page. Awesome job! You just finished functions in parallel and all of the coding challenges. Up next is functions in sequence and in parallel. Do you think you could take it on? Check out the next story by clicking on the green button. And that's it for this video. See you in the next video on functions in sequence and in parallel. If you like it, give it a like, subscribe, and I'll be seeing you next time. Bye.